Now it's time for Trader Chat, and the boy Ed is in the house today. How are we, Ed?
Hello, Johnny. How are you? Long time no see.
Long time no see. I was talking to our erstwhile friend Flynn Goward, who is over in New York, of all places, at the moment, enjoying himself and enjoying the Gunners extending their lead at the top of the table.
Yes. Well, I don't think they extended it because both teams won at the weekend, but they're looking in good position, aren't they?
They are indeed, and they've been odds on now for a week and a half. In terms of our chat today on Trader Chat, I'm fascinated by the Premier League race. The fact that Arsenal, absolute rags at start season, are now odds on. We also have the NFL. The beloved Bills of so many of their long-suffering fans are out again. They froze in the snow against the Bengals, but it's a tight race for the gridiron this year. And also racing, for all that we had an interrupted schedule, we did have 7 winning favourites at Thurles, and we had plenty of action around the world as well. Let's start with racing, Ed. How was the weekend? By all accounts, Starsports actually did okay turnover-wise. It's been a bit of a cold snap.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think we've been trying to stay one more week. I think we lost 15 meetings from UK and Ireland last week, including sort of like the Clarence House meeting at Ascot, and you had the big Haydock meeting in the Peter Marsh. But yeah, no, the bets held up well. I think we also, the big Maidan Carnival carrying on in Dubai at Maidan was a big help. And also we have a lot of international racing. It's still warm in America where Flynn is, so at least we had that to fall back on.
So do punters, like, does the punter who doesn't necessarily ever bet on this stuff, does he or she then, when he or she has nothing else to bet on, just starts to place bets on the likes of Maidan of the States?
I mean, I think certainly with Maidan, because there's a lot of, obviously a lot of English horses, English jockeys. People know them, don't they? Like William Buick's, Charlie Appleby's, Godolphins of this world are all over there. So, and all the big horses are over there from the flat. So certainly, to an extent, Maidan's very, very popular. And obviously, you've got Bahrain coming up with the world's richest race in a couple of weeks' time. So I think that'll be busy as well. And most of the American racing's in the evening. So a lot of people come home from work, turn it on and have a flutter.
How was Thurles on Saturday? Then we had like a blanket winning favourites on the card.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. A lot of them were quite skinny, so we didn't get too held up. But yeah, considering a lot of favourites won, it wasn't too bad a day for us.
Right, we will get to the racing coming up this week very shortly. Yeah. So we obviously have big stuff at Cheltenham. Might get to football though now, Ed. I mean, this race is becoming. I almost felt watching the game on Sunday that if Arsenal were to get a late goal, this is when you look back and say this is the weekend that they won the league, because, Man City were obviously expected to win. This was a massive challenge for Arsenal against a really, really informed Man United side themselves in the title race to an extent. And by hook or by crook, and I think deservedly, they got the job done.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might have been the shortest title race in the world for United, wasn't it? Like for 1 week only, they're in and then they're out. But yeah, I mean, if you look back, I think they've had the rub of the green, haven't they, Arsenal? But you need a bit of luck to win the title. I mean, we're 8-11 now. Like you said, they were 40-1, 50-1 at the start of the season. So, and then we're 6-5 City and 40-1 bigger the rest. So it does look a 2-horse race. And obviously Arsenal in a box seat, and it looks hard. You can't see them really slipping up many places now. So
how do you call it?
I'm sorry, Johnny?
How do you call it?
I think, they're in control now. I thought 8-11 seems about the right price. I couldn't really. I mean, prices are what they are, Johnny. I think Arsenal are the right favourites, obviously, and they look hard to beat, don't they?
The funny thing for me is, as much as Man City came back and beat Spurs, and that that was impressive, Guardiola has a bit of an outburst afterwards, and I don't think they've actually been that great themselves, in the sense that I don't necessarily see them steamrolling teams week to week and necessarily closing the gap. I'd almost trust Arsenal a little bit more than City at the moment.
Yeah, certainly. I think last 2 years City have had an aura of invincibility about them, which I think definitely has gone a bit this year. I mean, obviously Haaland's banging in the goals, but they changed their style of play a little bit with him up front, and they just don't seem to steamroll the teams like they have done previous seasons. So yeah, I think there's something in that. And Arsenal always look like they've got a goal in them, don't they? With Saka and Martinelli and all the others, they all look like they've got a chance. And obviously they signed one of my Brighton players, Trossard, and he came on and he sort of sparked a bit of life into them as well, didn't he? So, yeah, they look hard to beat, don't they, at the moment, and look solid at the back and look good going forward. So,
sorry, you're a Brighton fan, are you?
I am a Brighton fan, yeah.
Well, sorry, where have you been all my life? Evan Ferguson.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the new Haaland we've been calling him. He's looked really, really good. So it just shows you how good our recruitment is at the moment, and it'll make it continue. So, and then obviously we'll come on to it a bit later, but we've got a big game against you boys next week in the Cup.
We do. So I'm on the radio on Saturdays, and I've been told to shut up about Evan Ferguson because we're starved of any potential strikers in Ireland. But one thing I did say on Saturday was I fancy Everton to stay up if presuming that they do sack Lampard, which I think they will after this. So can I just get some updated relegation betting as well? Because I think that market is desperately hard to call if you can't get up. And Lampard, understandably, was given the heave-ho since.
He was, yeah. We've got the next Everton market up at the moment, which looks a two-horse race at the moment between Bielsa and Sean Dyche. I mean, Sean Dyche probably is what they need, isn't he? Get them back to playing basic football. Won't be very pretty to watch, but he normally gets the results, doesn't he? So that's it, really. So it looks wide open. I haven't actually got the relegation odds in front of me. Just bear with me 1 second.
No worries. And whilst you're looking, yeah, Bielsa and Sean Dyche, you literally couldn't pick two more different candidates, really, could you?
No, one's going to play expansive. Well, it has played expansive football and it leaves, and the other one will, be tighter than anything, won't he? So, I think it's very wide open. I've actually had a little bit of interest. I've had a little bit on Allardyce at 25-1 to get the job. I think he could be a bit out at the price. I think he's about 10-1 now, but even that, I think 10-1 is still quite a good price. So, I mean, relegation prices. So yeah, Bournemouth the shortest of the lot. They're 2-7. Then you got Everton at 8-13, Southampton at 4-6, Forest and Wolves at 5-2, and then I suppose Wolves. And then Leicester and Leeds could get dragged to it, and they're both 7-2. And then it's 6-1 Bar. So
that is
it's still wide open, really. So it's all to play for.
That is a fascinating market. The NFL, I think it was sort of threes the field going into the action at the weekend, and I was sort of reading up on the Bills, how their fans have been suffering for so long. I think they've lost they got to 3 or 4 Super Bowl finals without winning one. They're not going to be in the Super Bowl. They were upset by the Bengals, which I presume is a good result for you guys.
I mean, the Bills are my team as well, Johnny. I've been sulking all weekend after that. Just I don't know what happened to them. They were terrible both sides of the ball.
This is a terrible pun, but did they freeze?
Potentially. I mean, we've had a lot of emotion with climate happening and all of that going on. They didn't play very well either side of the ball. I mean, they just couldn't get going full stop. The Bengals look very good. I mean, with the injury, perhaps Mahomes are now favourites to beat the Chiefs in the next week's game, which I think is quite important. Yeah, we're 2-1 the field. We are short on the Eagles because we've got big liabilities. We've had a lean on them, and then we're top price the other 3. So they've got the Eagles for 6 figures. So fingers crossed the 49ers and Brock Purdy can do the job for us.
What does the boy Ed say?
I think it all depends on how badly Mahomes' injury is. I think he'd be on crutches this week, start of the week, certainly with a high ankle sprain. The Bengals went there, won last year. And, it's hard to see against Joe Cool and the team again. I think Bengals would be my selection from here, yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to see, and obviously you mentioned Mahomes, who's so important, just kind of carrying them over the line the weekend, and let's see what happens. But yeah, Ed's beloved Bills are gone again, it wasn't to be. The week ahead rather, with racing, just getting back to racing now. This Cheltenham thing is going to be an absolute extravaganza, and as much as we were sort of starved, as you mentioned, so many meetings called off, Cheltenham's going to be something else.
It will, and obviously with their Clarence House rearranged, you've got a great 2-mile chase tacked on now as well. So yeah, 9 races. We'll take up, attritional if you're going there punting. Start off in 11:40 first race. Cheltenham Clues abound as well. I think they're really good. You've also got the Grand National favourite Noble Yates in the Cotswold Chase. It looks like him or Protectorat will go close there. And yeah, it's just a great card, isn't it? Trials day, and I think you probably see 1 or 2 winners there come March, one on Saturday.
Yeah, 11:40 as well. I just want to mention as well, our Cheltenham yes, no competition. You can win a monkey free bet. That is £500. Now, obviously, if you are betting on Cheltenham at the weekend, I think it's important when racing starts for a 9-race card at 11:40. Do bet responsibly. We have the tie yesterdays in the meantime, but we're giving away a first prize of a monkey free bet and thousands of other free bets. That's given away in our Cheltenham competition. Now, all we need to know is yes or no to the 10 questions below. We want your predictions on what you think will win over the 4-day extravaganza. That is Cheltenham itself. So check out the website, starsports.bet.com for that, but well worth entering. And it costs you nothing to enter. Have you any ante-post positions at all out for Cheltenham?
Oh, sorry, I broke up then. No, not really. We've obviously got Tassel Vega. She's been proved very popular in the opening race. I think Willie Mullins has got about 16 entered after today. So, I mean, he's sure to go there, isn't he? I think for the 2 miles. So, get favourites back is off to a good start. Constitution Hill's in all the bankers and all the multiples. It looks hard to see him getting beaten in the champion hurdle, doesn't it? Depends. Even if Honeysuckle goes, I still think he's going to take all the beating of what he's done this year. And then Galloping to Champ in the Gold Cup. I mean, looking at the races Tuesday, it could be 4 or 5 really short, almost odds-on shots. So yeah, it looks well for the punters so far, but hopefully we can turn the corner somewhere.
Yeah, it's been quite diluted, and entries 35% down on 5 years ago for the corresponding 10 races that had the entry stage last week, which is alarming. Willie Mullins having way more than essentially almost everyone put together. But we will move on to football. As you mentioned, Ed, it's FA Cup weekend. This is a hard one because Manchester City against Arsenal on Friday night. There will be a bit of shadow boxing here for all that. You imagine they'll put out strong teams, and as you mentioned, your beloved Brighton taking on Liverpool yet again and playing them very recently in the league. It's what's turnover like in the FA Cup these days, actually?
I think the matches have been quite popular. Obviously, Friday night will be really, really popular. And obviously, see if Brighton can beat Liverpool again this season on Sunday. That'd be nice for me. I think it'd be very popular. The outright, we're starting to get a few outrights. I think Newcastle and Spurs have both been popular. I think mainly because only two of City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Brighton are going to go out. So obviously, Tottenham are away at Preston. They look good things. And Newcastle Manchester United, not Newcastle. They got home to Reading. So you think, even if they put weakened teams out, they should go through. So they've been quite popular in the outrights. People were looking at the draws, seeing any one of Arsenal and City are out, and Liverpool and Everton, Liverpool, Brighton. So we're going that well. And then obviously the matches on Saturday, the whole weekend will be very popular, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so you've got the Cheltenham extravaganza. You've got a really good card as well in Gore on Thursday. So if you want to take Thursday into the weekend, you've Gore on Thursday, this extravaganza at Cheltenham Saturday, the Arsenal City game Friday night, FA Cup weekend, and then you got the NFL, the divisional championships on Sunday. What's not to like, Ed?
I know, exactly. I mean, even if Frost comes back, we can stay in warm and watch it all on the telly. So fantastic.
Yeah, that is it for Trader Chat this week. Thanks, Ed Dark, for stepping in. A little bit of a cheer out to Flynn Goward, who I told him I was heading off to New York myself this week, and he only got a photo under the hotel I'm staying at. And he told me that there were a lot of plastic Man United fans who were literally squirming in their drinks as he toasted Arsenal's victory as they went back further ahead again in the Premier League and are odds on now to win the Premier League this season. That was Trader Chat with Johnny Ward and Ed Dark. We shall be back next week.